Welcome to another Scottish Watches video. Again, every time I start these videos I say something along the lines of we have some special pieces for you, because we always do. And we have a very special gentleman on the other end of the line, virtually this time instead of in person. We have Pietro from the limited edition, and we have a couple of his watches. So how are we doing today, Pietro?
Very well, Ricky. How are you doing?
I've got a little bit of a sore throat. It's not COVID. I've been checked. Everything is fine. I'm not Rick. I'm not going to pass away anytime soon. But I'm feeling a lot better that we have these watches with us today in the studio. So can you give us a quick rundown on Louis Moinet and what the hell we have in front of us?
Absolutely, Ricky. It's my pleasure to introduce everyone to the work of one of the very cool independent watch brands that is widely, I wouldn't say underrated, but underknown in the UK in particular, and is the brand that takes its name from the inventor of the chronograph, Louis Moinet. Louis Moinet was a legendary watchmaker in the 19th century, working with the likes of Abraham Louis Breguet or Perlet himself, so the most important watchmakers of the times, instruments inventor. And he's famous for the invention of the chronograph in 1816. Now, the chronograph was just a machine like any other machine. The chronograph actually helped people in those days to refine their methods of research and measurement of some of the most important factors in the study of astronomical, for example, research. So in those days, for the trade and for so many human activities, the understanding of astrology was and the astronomical factors was of vital importance. With the invention of the compteur de tierces, which was in essence a chronograph able to measure 1/6 of a second, which for the time was absolutely incredible, Louis Moinet stepped up as one of the brightest minds in those days. So the mission for the brand these days is to perpetuate this legacy of Louis Moinet, a little bit like, of course, Breguet are doing with the tourbillon, the invention of the tourbillon that belongs to Abraham Louis Breguet. And Louis Moinet, yes, are putting the accent on the chronograph in particular, and with these memories that you have on your plate today, showcasing possibly one of the best interpretations of the chronograph. And Ricky, that chronographs are often underestimated because it's a small complication. It's categorized as a small complication, but it's very hard to actually make, especially when you're talking about handmade. And Louis Moinet is one of those few brands that have mastered this art of making a chronograph, and they're not shy about it. As you can see, they are showcasing it from the dial directly rather than on the case back, as it may happen with other brands. So you'll be interested to know, Rick, in this Memoris chronograph, there are 302 parts altogether. 147 are the parts composing the chronograph itself.
This is interesting because I'm looking at this, and from the dial side, it doesn't look that complex. It doesn't look like there's that many parts in it. Now, I've obviously seen in the back of Speedmaster, my Apollo 8 has a sapphire clear back on it, and I can look inside and see what's going on. This looks a lot easier, and I know it's not. So what's this black magic all about?
Yeah, so this, first of all, we're talking about a column wheel chronograph because besides the Baroque and somehow regal look that Louis Moinet watches have, which are a clear reference to the 200 years ago when Louis Moinet was active himself as a watchmaker himself, Louis Moinet, they used the latest mechanical technologies to create the most refined mechanical machines.
So the column wheel part would be, again, this little guy up here.
Absolutely. It's a column wheel chronograph, so the top-notch level of chronographs, and it's also a mono-pusher as well. So mono-pusher means you can operate your chronograph with one single pusher, which is positioned at 2 o'clock, start, stop, and reset with the same finger action.
Now, the easiest way to do this, because obviously we're trying to film everything and we're zoomed in quite close, things wobble, I will try and hold down the strap, not cover the watch too much, and then just press here.
Yeah.
And we're off to the races.
Now you can see obviously the hand, which is finished in red at the very end, showing you the time interval that you want to measure. Then if you press again, it will stop the action, and you can appreciate obviously the lever pushing through the gear train that is giving the impulse to the hands as well, which would be more or less the same optical effect when you reset to send that hand straight to 12 o'clock again.
And for reset.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm noticing here, I'll rotate it around just in case it's easier to see this way around. What I'm noticing, for everything being contained on the one pusher, it is silky smooth. Click.
Which is a great point, Ricky. Yeah, because when I say chronographs, there are millions of chronographs in lots of price categories in the watch industry. Yeah. But the difference in evaluating a chronograph is about the details. So smooth action is very, very hard to achieve. Each and every single part of the 302 parts and the 147 parts of the chronograph are hand decorated, hand finished with all the techniques such as beveling, for example, for smoothing the edges of every single part, but also graining. Graining is used also to give depth, of course, to some of the key parts and to allow that really, really great see-through that you can appreciate. Now, in the white gold version that you are handling now, you can see the main plate is blued. Actually,
I saw
which
that.
Is a very nice treatment. Yeah, very nice treatment as well. Whereas on the pink gold, the main plate under the dial is actually decorated with Côte de Genève, which is another very good finishing skill that at Louis Moinet, they're very careful in making it as top notch as possible. Louis Moinet is a great mix between these Baroque kind of aesthetics and again the sharp top notch engineering that then gives this contemporary look to them. So we are humans. We always try to compare things amongst each other, but with Louis Moinet, it's kind of difficult. You can't really compare this sort of style with anything else on the market.
Yeah.
The Memoris has been compared a lot of times with some of obviously the Lange, the datograph, for example.
Yeah.
And the finishing, doesn't get too far from those standards which are by any means a trademark for the industry, really. And yes, the case back shows a little bit as well, whereas the front is a show for the eyes. The case back still is very interesting with the decoration on the rotor and a added plate with a signature Louis Moinet. You can see that the movement itself is decorated again with a circular Côte de Genève. And all the screws are finished as well and decorated to create a nice harmony.
And how many are these limited to?
Yeah, so there are, in this case, the two gold versions are limited to 60 pieces. And then if you go through the limited edition.co.uk, where the house of independent watchmaking, you can see some of the other versions that have been created by Louis Moinet to enhance this incredible story of the chronograph, the invention of the chronograph, which is something that most are still unaware of, and we're here obviously to tell the story.
I had no idea. Obviously, I heard of Breguet and heard of various other Thomas Mudge, etc., but no, yeah. I didn't know who invented the chronographs. I have learned something today, and I want to point out, if you can see any little specks on this, that's dust on the outside, because we're zoomed in so closely that everything is showing up. If you look at the amazing videos that Watchfinder do, even their videos have got dust in them, so there's nothing you can do at this level of magnification, but the quality, the finishing inside, it's just incredible. I really have no words. It's not very often that I am speechless, even with a sore throat, but in this occasion, I am.
I can give you a bit of comfort, Ricky, by letting you know that this watch, the Memoris, got the best of the best, the Rob Report best of the best in 2017. In 2016, it was in the official pre-selection of the Grand Prix de l'Horlogerie in Geneva, as they are this year as well. So it's plenty of recognition for a brand that is more and more established. It's just a case, in terms of the UK, to bring it to light a little bit more, because most collectors haven't heard about it.
Thank you once again for your time. It's very confusing, the world at the moment, but we can always rely on Pietro to send us some nice, interesting things to look at. These are fantastic, absolutely amazing looking. We have got a lot more videos already shot. We've got some coming up, and we've got some from our previous time where you actually managed to travel up to Scotland to the studio to actually record things. But we're doing this virtually. It's the way of things. It seems to work. It might not be 100% as good as being here in person, but at least we get to see these watches without having to wait months or whatever before we can meet up in person. So thanks once again. And if you want to tell the viewers where they can find these watches.
Yeah, it's fantastic, Ricky. I'm happy I found my role in the world. By bringing the most incredible independent watchmakers, there's a lot more to be discovered, and you guys are doing an excellent job. To give us a platform to be able to be creative and share that knowledge. In general, yes, the limited edition was created for this. So you'll find a selection of over 30 very, very cool independent watchmakers. We also have a nice little Instagram account where every day we try to create contents, interviews, virtual manufacturing visits, and all the enticing, contents related to the world of watchmaking. And that's thelimitededition.uk. Thanks for this space, Ricky, and I'll look forward to chatting with you again soon.
That's perfect. Thanks very much, guys, for viewing this video. Check out the rest on the channel and be sure to check out the other videos we have done with Pietro. Thanks a lot. We'll catch you soon.